welcome back. Again, it comes over so quick. Welcome back to the Potty Mouth Garden Club. Hello, everyone who's in our chat there. It's filling up nicely. Welcome back, everyone there. JB, Jess, Audrey, how are you doing there? Now, JB and Jess are having some sort of heat wave up here in the northeast of England. I was just saying there, it's bloody, well, it's long trousers. I've just said it's long trousers, and I've got a vest on as well as a T-shirt. So, raining. Do you know what I mean? JB, how are you anyways? Are you good?
Yeah, pretty good. I'm working towards a healthier work-life balance as each week goes on.
Right.
Winding down a little bit and a little bit more at work, and starting to feel a bit more like myself, and a little less like a work machine.
What steps have you put in then? Because you have been grafting your way at work. Do you know what I mean? So what steps?
I basically turned around and said, I'm not doing this anymore. It's too much. It was. I can't believe
it took you so long to do that. You should have.
Been
for such a long time.
The thing is, so basically, for people who don't know, is I got a promotion like way back in kind of end of February, but there wasn't anyone to fill in my old job, so I've been sort of juggling the new role and my old job at the same time. And since June, it ramped up to just ridiculous levels, like I can barely get to the allotment, let alone doing videos and stuff. So it was always meant to be temporary. That's the point. And it's now been many months, and I did just say I can't do this anymore. And I've got a week and a half of leave at the end of the month that I booked in ages ago. And I said, when I come back, that's it. I'm just doing the job that you're paying me for. Thank you very much. And I have a very good team who have always been very, very understanding. And that's kind of why I do a bit more than I should, because it's just trying to help the team out. We all help each other out. And
so is that the reason, though, why you've had such tiny onions this year?
Yeah, let's blame that.
Right in there.
Yeah, that's my excuse.
I've seen that video. But isn't it bizarre, though, because I've got some leeks. There's about 15 leeks, and 10 of them are like each next to each other, perfect. And then there's like a couple just in the same, nothing kind of like too far away, or they're all just mixed up, tiny, as if like, what's going on there? Do you know what I mean? Like, why not just grow the same as your neighbour, like 6 inches away? But
it's a great mystery. I don't know what happened with those onions, but
no,
you roll with it, don't you?
Looks very hot down there as well. You've just come in. You nearly forgot about we're cooking pizza. Is it homemade pizzas on an outdoor pizza oven?
Well, in the oven in the kitchen, but but yeah, made the pizzas. But I got well carried away. I was char grilling my courgettes and my aubergines and all sorts of stuff, and then I was like, I've got 10 minutes, and so I've just wolfed it down. I put way too much chili on just apparently one section of my pizza, which then my lips are burning. Yeah, so it started off quite like a relaxed, isn't it a lovely, beautiful, hot, sunny day? We'll all puntz around in the garden, and then now it's like panic station. So
is everything on that pizza, like vegetable wise, from the allotment?
The aubergine wasn't.
Right.
Yeah, it
courgettes?
Wasn't, but the courgettes were, and the basil, and the red onion, all from ours. But yeah, I cheated with the aubergine. Yeah.
I haven't got any courgettes this year. I didn't plant any, but just none. But well done there. Do you use like a potato
it would be
peeler for the?
Surprising if you had got courgettes, then, wouldn't it?
I would have been surprised if I didn't plant any. I've got homegrown courgettes on my plate. How do you do the potato peeler with them, or are you slicing them for the pizzas?
Yeah, potato peeler, and then on the griddle, so they dry out quite a lot. Right. And then with the beautiful stripes, and they get a really, really nice, intensified flavour, but they're not wet. So when you put them on the pizza, they just yum. Really nice.
And homemade pizza. Oh, Audrey, you've got some competition here. The young lass here has got some competition with the cooking there.
Well,
Wow.
let's go.
Yeah,
Let's
The thing
go.
I really wish I'd done more of with the pizza though is chew it, because I just absolutely inhaled it, and it's like it feels like it's still the same shape as the pizza. Like it's
So
not.
if you go off screen, we'll just notice like a little, you know what I mean, a little. Listen. Anyways, lovely to have you, Jess. Thank you very much for coming on. Anyways, lovely. Audrey, got a bit of sunshine there as well. Nice to see you.
Good to see you too.
Yes,
Good to be here.
Well, I was saying to Audrey before the show that I'm going to try and get Audrey back on to do actually aubergines, like a little recipes. So, what, Audrey? If I'm a new,
go ahead.
If I was a newbie gardener, you know what I mean, like with no years, and I've grown some lovely aubergines, what would be a simple recipe to cook with aubergines? Because they're starting to like come thick and fast for me. So, what would you advise?
I think baba ganoush is really simple.
Right. Well, we'll do that then. We'll do that.
And so is
ratatouille. I just
ratatouille.
fry them down and just add them to another thing.
Yeah.
So, what were you saying, Audrey?
I said ratatouille is quite easy too.
Right. Yes.
Just has a lot more ingredients, but it's quite easy. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Right then.
Yeah.
Right.
We'll have plenty to talk about with.
Let's make a date.
Aubergines.
Aubergines.
I have a quick question about aubergines. Aubergines?
Go on, JB.
You know when you hear a word
Eggplants.
too many times and you're like, what is that? Are they one that tastes dramatically different from one you buy at the store? Or are they more or less the same?
Are we talking about someone who's never grown an aubergine before, JB?
Pardon? My signal's gone, I think. I said, are aubergines from the store, do they taste pretty much the same as the ones that you grow at home?
I think personally, if you're growing the big, like Black Beauty ones, the main difference is just they taste of satisfaction. But the real, like, generally no. But you've got so much like wider varieties that you can grow your own that you get a bit more of. But you can actually taste the difference between them. Like last year, I had a terrible year for aubergines, but the year before we grew. Like the longer ones and then the stripy ones and bits and pieces, and when you cooked them all together at the same time you could actually like taste the difference between them, which was quite nice. But
That's
I'd
cool.
say like the Black Beauty, apart from the fact that the skins seem to me to be a bit tougher on your own ones, they're pretty much the same, but they are good.
I wouldn't know because I'm still yet to successfully harvest an aubergine, you see.
You haven't popped your
One
cherry.
day.
Oh. Funny, I watched my best year at aubergines was I watched and I followed to the latter a Charlie Dowden video where he kind of strings his up and then he has two stems going up and he cuts off like sucker side shoots, and I can't even get near them, to be honest, this time in the tunnel, but the crops that I got, and I think they might have been grafted as well. We used to get like, I think we've talked about this before, Jess. Did we not get like grafted aubergines somewhere? And the quality and the amount I got off them was,
that was the year when we had all of we got a multi-pack like selection from the wonderful Delftland, and they were all they were all grafted, and they were wonderful. Have you ever tried grafted, JB?
Never.
Or are you buying from seed?
Always done it from seed, but I never put the effort in with my aubergines. They're always so neglected. I treat them just so harshly. It's so mean.
And they're sat next to your chilies that are getting all the pampering.
Exactly it. Yeah, exactly it. They're always they fall to the bottom of the priority list with everything else, and they're looking longingly at the tomatoes and the chilies. So, maybe next year. I'll give a bit more TLC.
Jess hit a nail on the head there, and it is honestly satisfaction when you get like a big aubergine out. You know what I mean? It's just like you think, oh, hey, that is special. Do you know what I mean? So, Audrey, have you got aubergines or eggplants going over there? Have you got?
Yeah, I just made ratatouille over the weekend.
Oh, lovely.
Not rat.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Nice.
I made baba. Sorry. It was
Baba Gan-
to,
how do you
yeah,
say this? Baba Ganoush.
baba ganoush.
Right.
Baba ganoush.
Mm.
Just call it baba. It's close enough.
And
If
this
you're
is
talking eggplants and say baba, people will know what that is.
what variety of aubergine, eggplant,
I'm
aubergine?
growing two. One is a black beauty, which I've never grown. I've always gone for the skinny um, Asian style
Mm.
eggplants, but these are so nice and meaty. And then the other one is an Asian. I think it's Metalda. I'll have to look the name up, but I think it's
Mm.
Metalda, and it's got like a bigger bum on the bottom, so it's more like
More like that shape.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. But I cut. I mean, it was just beautiful when I opened it up. So
Mm.
yeah,
Have you ever tried orange aubergines?
I did once for decorative purposes because they look
Yeah.
like little pumpkins.
Yeah.
But
Did
I didn't eat them.
no,
They
I
made
didn't
me
eat mine
nervous.
either.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
They
made me
look
nervous.
poisonous, don't they?
They do.
Oddly
So
enough. Yeah.
so we
Yeah.
just put them like with the kids' Halloween stuff. Like, yeah, these are just cute little pumpkins growing up up a branch. So
Yeah.
yeah, I never tried them.
No. But the flowers on the orange ones, the smell was incredible. We
Oh,
had
I
them
didn't
in
notice that.
Yeah,
Okay.
we had them in the greenhouse, and God, you just open that door and the perfume from
Mm.
them was incredible because they've
Wow.
got like, I don't know if you've seen them, but they're like I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but like the flowers, rather than with a normal aubergine, you've just got like one mega flower, and then the aubergine comes from that. It kind of like a little white candelabra. Like they're really sweet, and
Oh,
the smell was just gorgeous. They're really lovely.
Mm.
wow. I
I
don't
know
even remember that. It's been a few years since I grew them.
Yeah.
So,
every aubergine or these ones especially mine, actually, and last year's is like the thorns on them are little kind of vicious little things. The thorns on the aubergine
Yeah.
plants are forever like bleed. Do you know what I mean? When you get caught, you actually it draws
Mm.
blood.
Blimey.
So, oh yes, JB, you've got to grow aubergines, man. Do you know what I mean sacrifice some of your chili? So there's nothing.
Yeah.
Honestly, it is a satisfaction when you're like bloody hell aubergines. You know what I mean?
Last year I was pretty close, but they got spider mited, and they
All
got
right.
absolutely mullered. And then this year my seedlings just looked really unhappy, and I kind of gave up on them, to be honest. And I did buy one from a garden centre, which has gone in the ground in the greenhouse, but it's about this big, and it's surrounded by cucumbers and tomatoes at like head height. So it's not getting much light.
Oh,
I don't think it's going to do much.
aubergine cruelty on.
Yeah, that's it. There's one small aubergine on there, but we'll see. We'll see.
Just give it love and care. You'll get one nice big. You know what I mean? How's JB? I seen you were talking about the anticipation of tomatoes. How are you getting it? Oh,
Yes,
are they
yeah,
there?
we had the
Are they there?
first little harvest on Sunday. Just a few of the cherries, but it was enough to bring some home. You know, like just a little handful, like 10, 15 cherries, but so good, so good. I had a really good day there Sunday, like tasting a few new varieties and also tasting quite a lot of chili peppers, which made for a funny video.
Right. What was your hottest chili pepper you tasted?
Do you know, I had a really weird experience with the Hainan Yellow Lantern. I don't know if are you doing the chili chump seed kit this year, Tony?
I think I've got that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that rings a bell. Yeah.
It's in the chili chump seed kit, and they're really nice, kind of big golden orange habanero types.
Oh well,
But
no,
the one,
we've just got little. The ones I'm looking at, like
okay,
little yellow.
the one I had was like really mild. I dodged a bullet. They're meant to be like 300,000 Scoville heat units, and it was fine. It was just a bit of a weird texture, so I think I got a dud one. But yeah, tasting that and Ring of Fire and a few others. The Champion, again, bloody amazing. Bloody
Which one?
amazing. The Champion.
Oh right.
Um, I'm growing that one this year after you very kindly gave me some seed. I'm well excited about it.
Very nice. How's it looking? Is it
They're
doing
looking
okay?
brilliant. I've actually got chilies on everything now.
Right.
Like fruit. They're not anywhere near like ready, but it's happening, which is more than I thought was going to happen. So, yeah.
See,
Very
my,
good.
Now,
my,
Very
what's the champion one like, JB?
So the champion it's a bit like a bishop's crown. If you've ever had one of those, they're quite popular. It's a Bactum, relatively mild. I think the Scoville heat unit on it is meant to go up to about 20,000, 10 to 20,000, which is like, it's a mild chili, but if you ate it alone with nothing else
Right,
raw,
that's a little bit
it's
of heat.
pretty.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah.
But the ones I've got this year from my own saved seed seem to be extra mild. And they're just really sweet, like nice, zesty, slightly fruity, just really good fresh on salads and that kind of thing for me. The champion is just one of my favorites, and I can snack on it. I love it. Really love it. Really prolific as well, like incredibly strong fruiting. It just amazed me last year how prolific it was. Really prolific, really tasty. So I thought I'd give it a go this year. I've got one in the auto pot, and I've got two in the auto pots, and they're just like jungles already. Absolutely hundreds of chilies on them. Love
JB,
it.
keep some seeds for me, JB. That's, to be honest,
absolutely.
next year I think I'm going to go way more milder than what I have been. You know what I mean? Because there's some of them you're not going to. In reality, you're not going to kind of, how many bertolocas are you going to put in your salad? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You might make one batch of sauce, but how much sauce are you going to? Where we did the the jalapenos, they're lovely because you can stand them. You know what I
Your
mean?
harvest of those was incredible.
Chuffed a bit.
So good.
That was gorgeous.
So Audrey,
Tony's got the touch this year.
Yeah, Audrey, what I did do though, now you actually said, I'm sure you said, no, I've never heard that. I've froze them like raw, but then because you said when we did the cooking thing, Audrey gave this recipe of like stuffed jalapenos. You cut them in half, you put cheese and soft cream in, and then there's some kind of crumbs on the top. Then they can go in the freezer. Is that right? Straight in the freezer.
Yep.
So I was thinking, well, that means it still hasn't been cooked, the bottom. So I put them in because I got loads. Do you know what I mean? I was thinking they're all just going to, So I put them in the freezer. I used a sharp bread knife. I took one out, a few days later. I just cut it in half, cream cheese, coated in the oven, exactly the same as and I thought, oh, there we go. Saved.
Nice.
So I've got, a nice little kind of, because I used to freeze the Hungarian hot wax ones and just take out the chili, and even when it was frozen, chop it up and then just put it in whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? So
Yeah, you can also you can split them before you freeze them.
Yes,
so it's even easier. You just take it out.
Then you don't have to get through the skin.
Yep.
Yeah, I store all my chilies like just whole in the freezer. Yeah.
All right,
unless I'm drying them, like they either get eaten immediately or frozen or dried. Like that's the only options, because I've had the experience before of them looking really lovely still in like a bowl on the table or whatever, and then gone to use them, and when you cut into them, there's just like grey smoke comes out of them where they've molded on the inside, but the the skin has stayed intact. So I don't even bother with it anymore. Like that's disappointment.
Yes.
Mine, I tell you what is just disappointment as well. Does anyone else suffer from this? Like when you have, because I hate putting tomatoes in like the fridge. It just seems to like it's a total like what's the point?
Sacrilege.
The waste.
But then you go to the tomato bowl, because we now have like a tomato bowl in the house. But then you just see this like cloud of like fruit flies flying around.
Yeah.
Oh my God's sake, man! Do you know what I mean? So we've tried netting. You know what I mean? All sorts of different things. We've got these little sticky on. They're like little fly traps that you stick nearby, and I think the fruit flies are attracted to the liquid that's in there, this golden nectar liquid, and they're supposed to drop in and drown in this liquid, and there's all sorts of different methods. So if anyone's out there who knows how to combat fruit flies.
We just use one of those little, we use them for barbecues as well, like little mesh
like
cover.
A cake umbrella.
Like a cake umbrella, exactly. Yeah, we use one of those for the tomatoes. because it's a nightmare, especially when you've got like a food bin, for the compost in your kitchen. You've got to keep them out, keep them away.
I tell you, Audrey, what I did do the first time I made your red sauce. JB, that I forgot what's the name of the blender. I forgot the name of the blender. Chili Chum's got one as well. Anyway, not Magic Mix.
The really expensive one.
Yeah, what? You don't have to say that, but what's it called?
I can't remember either.
Well,
that's oh my gosh, I can't believe it.
You've
It went out of my head because I keep thinking Ninja, and that's like not, that's just an average blender.
It's the same one as Audrey's got. I'm sure I've got the same one as you, Audrey.
It's a high-speed one. Oh my gosh.
They're like red, right? Someone help us out in the chat. What are they called?
I cannot believe.
Well, someone put it in the chat. Let's just.
I don't know what we're talking about. What is it?
It's a high-speed, really high-speed blender.
Like a NutriBullet type thing.
Yeah, only
not quite.
Vitamix.
It's like
Vitamix.
Oh.
There we go.
There it is.
Oh, there we
Lord,
go. So
goodness.
anyway, so Audrey said to roast the tomatoes in the oven, and I was thinking, well, there's skins on. Do you know what I mean? I never tried like blending with skins on. You always get that like gritty bit, and Audrey says, "Oh no, that'll just whiz it and blend," and it did. But my first batch of JB, they're gone. But I was so excited pressing this button, like, you know what I mean? It was the thing was nearly going like the kitchen was rattling. It was soup. Do you know what I mean? It was so blended. It went to soup.
Oh yeah, and if you keep doing it, it heats it up.
It heats it up. So the red sauce that I wanted, kind of a little bit chunky. You know what I mean? Just to put in like a bolognese. It looked like Heinz tomato soup. Do you know what I mean? It was like,
but it didn't taste like it, did it?
Didn't taste like it, Audrey. Didn't.
There you go.
So I did
it again. There you
go. I did it again.
So what's this thing called?
Vitamix.
They've got different ones, and they're honestly the silly price.
They're
to be honest,
really, but you get one, you never need another one.
Yeah, they're built for life.
Yeah, those are workhorses.
But I did it, Audrey, the second time, and honestly, man, your recipe was just. I've made red sauce before. Do you know what I mean? It's just like everyone makes red sauce, but there's a little secret. £2 Patreon. You'll have to go and watch. Hey, honestly, oh man, that was an ad. I should put on advert, shouldn't I? Like on the thing. So, what a delicious, to be honest. And I froze it as well. Went out and got some more Tupperware little pots and got it all frozen.
Awesome. So. Yep. It's also cannable if you're a canner.
Mm-hmm.
So just saying.
Not so common over here, is it?
No, canning. I know. I don't think anyone cans over here. Do you know what I mean? It's not.
I see it from people do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Liz Zorab does it.
It's just different.
You need quite a lot of space for it as well, right? Like over at Liz.
But it's not like freezer space. Right?
No, it's like a larder or a pantry. Or
right, a pantry, yes. I have that in my basement.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's all down there.
JB. Well, a cupboard. See a cupboard. You don't have to say larder or pantry.
No, it's not a cupboard.
You know what I mean?
It's not a cupboard for food.
From Mummy's estate. Mummy, in the pantry, there's the larder. We got ready crisps in the larder. They're in the cupboard, love.
So larder means pantry?
I think so.
Okay.
Yes. There's probably a distinction.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anything, Audrey, anything growing in the garden? Anything successes or?
Everything's growing in the garden. I have a lot of tomatoes that are, gosh, it's either going to be this afternoon or tomorrow that I'm picking them. I can see all the red right out my window here. Looks beautiful. So these are like some of the purple plum, purple heartthrob, and it's like a heart-shaped, but a really meaty tomato. So sauce time starts.
I was gonna say, Audrey, you know, when you pick them, how long before you start processing? Will you have it like a period where
Oh.
they're on the kitchen table in like a lovely pot, so you can see them as decoration, or do you
For
just
a minute, maybe for a day or two, but then it's like I don't want to lose those
Yeah.
because they're so fabulous, and I don't put mine in the fridge, so I've got to do something with them.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they'll sit there and I'll gawk at them for a few days, and then they'll go get processed. Yeah, absolutely.
Have
Yeah,
you picked any yet then, Audrey? Or is this your first batch you're going to be picking? Is it?
this is gonna be my. I have one. Gosh, what was that? It's I think a Paul Robeson on my counter, but either fell off or one of the wee boys around here helped himself do it. So it wasn't quite red. It wasn't quite fully, or brown actually is almost what those look like. So that might be ready to slice today too. We'll see. But he came in a little early. But I've had some cherries. That's all I've had. So I'm very excited to get the first real big tomato.
Nice.
Jess, any trooping back and forwards with produce tomatoes yet, or?
We've had 2 tomatoes, but both of them cherries. But there's so many coming.
Nice.
Like I was pruning them today, like 2 days ago, and just like chopping up and as I was chopping up, there's just masses of like teeny weenies in there. So I'm incredibly optimistic. I'm a bit of a way off them actually being pickable, but
And what?
Well, that's how I feel like. There's so much green out there.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a good tomato.
yeah.
Good tomato harvest.
Jess, what about you for harvesting? Are you the kind of a red sauce maker, or do you just like eat them fresh?
Yeah, well, I mean, we eat most of them fresh, but when you get to that point where you're absolutely inundated, I do make sauce out of them, but I don't blend them. I just like squash them and chuck them in the pot, or use the moulin. The grinder. I've got one of those,
right,
which
yes.
is brilliant. That's really good.
And does that
I don't
get
tend
rid
to
of?
cook them.
Does that get rid of the skin, though? Does that ground down the skin
Yeah,
as well?
it does,
right?
but it doesn't grind the skin out, but it leaves the skin on top, like the skin doesn't go through.
All right,
Yeah.
right.
So
Yeah.
it just takes it out, yeah. But I do freeze tomatoes as well, but once they've been, like I drop them in the hot water, skin them, and then freeze them with no skins on. Yeah.
I've never asked
I'm
you.
so
do you
excited
be-
about the tomatoes.
Mate, it is when you think the kind of rocky year we've all had to kind of get there. You know what I mean? And then like it's like, oh, I think we're going to actually cross this line and get some. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like it's, long time coming.
now I know Audrey's
my-
got. I know Audrey's got outside tomatoes. JB, have you got outside tomatoes or?
Yeah, I've got a few Romas outside, and I've got a couple of other little random ones. I always like to do a few outside just so that I can point at them for all the people in my comments who say, you don't need to grow them in a greenhouse. You're on the south coast. Just grow them outside. They'll be fine. And then I always do, and they're these like stunted, sad-looking things when I grow them outside. I just do a few so I can go, I told you. No, the Romas outside do quite well though. They're kind of they just like it outside, so I always do a few of those and just let them go. And they're always a bit late for me, and you end up normally those Roma kind of outdoor bush varieties will get blight, and I've probably only harvested about half of the tomatoes from them. So it's not ideal, but we'll still get some. But in terms of like the eating and like consumption of tomatoes, I'm a bit scared because this year is going to be like on a scale that I've never seen before because of the entire like tomato forest in the polytunnel. Last year I had an amazing harvest just from the small greenhouse, and we could eat them all fresh, or just about.
Not this
See
time.
everything in the tunnel this time. That's why I've sort of we've started getting a bit of a canning supply ready, and it's why I've got that food mill, because we're gonna have to process quite a few down, and I need to do a bit of research on canning. I think I know my stuff, but you really need to be very careful when canning.
Oh yeah.
And we bought some of the proper you know, the fancy brand, Kilner, I
Yes.
think, Kilner cans and the lids and stuff that you replace and that kind of thing. So that's the plan, because we don't have enough space in the freezer to just, the whole thing would be tomatoes, I think. So I've got to diversify a little bit and get the pantry ready.
There you go. For the larder.
We do not have a pantry.
The larder.
Yeah.
I watched what do you call him? I think I might have mentioned this on the show. Jamie Oliver video, like a YouTube video, where he's got like a mentor, like an Italian older guy who's a mentor, and they just got a load of fresh tomatoes, chopped them up, a bit what Jess just said there, just like squashed them in the hands, put them in a kilner jar, like layer, so like crushed tomatoes, basil leaves, bit of garlic, nothing like processed or anything, just right up to the top, all raw. Put the lids on and then like boiled them to seal them, you know, like to sterilize them in like a big kind of pot, and then just put them in these jars in the fridge. Left them for like, I think it was 2 or 3 months, and I did that, and man, that infused flavor of like the garlic and the basil was just the ideal base for a, you know, like a red sauce pizza base or a bol sauce or anything. Do you know what I mean? It was dead easy.
Nice.
Do you know what I mean? There was no like, it was just like, it was almost like fun to crush the tomatoes and just like literally crush them in your hands, slop them into the thing, put garlic, basil, again, build it up, and seal it up. Lovely.
Yeah.
Sounds
The most
good.
satisfying one for doing that with, I find, is the Black Russian, because you know it's quite like there's not a lot of gap inside it. Like it's just really fleshy, but quite floury fleshy. And when you go like that, it really is just still fantastic. I love it. That's always like the end of a sauce when you fried everything up and you just squeeze one of them over the top of it. It's really good. Was that
Nice.
Gennaro who was his mentor?
I don't,
Really enthusiastic, quite
Yes,
short.
that's
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the one there. Yeah. You know, we're talking all this, and I've been meaning to ask you. You know, because we're all excited, the glut's coming and everything. You know, we're all good. But why do you think? Because it does. Because we mentioned this in our private chat. Like, gardening seems to drop off now. Do you know what I mean? Like the enthusiasm for gardening. You know, like even being like vain as I am, like my views on videos are like dropping down. And you'd think, this is the time. This is the time where you've worked all the way to get it. You know what I mean? You would have thought like more people would be interested now or enjoying the gardens. But I bet I could go up in my allotment now and it's just like there's tomatoes on people's greenhouse, but there's nothing happening. You know what I mean? There's no one there, and it just seems to like fall flat. I don't know, JB, have you noticed anything like that? Or
Yeah, exactly. I mean, my allotment is really quiet, but I think it's because I tend to go at stupid times of the day when I get a spare minute and it's normally still like ridiculously hot. But yeah, I've definitely noticed a bit of a drop off. I think for a lot of people, you spend a lot of time, you know, early summer and spring getting everything ready, getting everything planted out. And then this time of year, you can kind of take your foot off the pedal a little bit, and you've just got to go up and water. If you want to, you can just go up, water, do a little bit of pruning if you need to, and then you'll reap the harvest at the end of it, you know. So as for the views, because we were talking about this, and it just seems to go a little bit quieter in August. It might just be the summer holidays. Everyone's looking after kids and busy.
But
and
also,
that kind of thing.
I think there's less. I think definitely, like, you're less likely also to sit down and watch YouTube when the sun's out.
Yeah.
But also, I think, like, I'm just thinking about why I would kind of sit down and watch gardening videos is if I'm unsure about something, or I need a bit of inspiration to do something, or I feel like I should be doing this. And in August, everything's already sort of it's done, and you're just doing the picking, and you're like at the end stage of it, so you've got less need to kind of for reassurance, like, and just check that somebody else is doing the same thing that you are. Like maybe
that's a good
Very
good
true.
point there. Yeah, that could be it. You know what I mean? Like you've kind of learned your baby steps, your steps. You know what I mean? This is, you don't need to know how to sow carrots. Well, I do, but you don't need. You know what I mean?
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Every year, same video I watch, same video. Charlie Dowden carrots, how to grow carrots. Step 1. Here we go. Get the pen. You know what I mean? Get the pen.
No, I have 2 flats outside right now getting used to the weather, hardening them off a little bit. I'm looking really forward to this fall garden. Like all the stuff that was giving me a hard time in the spring, I'm getting them ready to go in right now.
Yeah.
So that when there will be a glut, but I'm hoping there'll be another glut a little bit later.
Yeah.
You know, fennel, radicchio, beets, turnips, just some things that really didn't work out for me so good in the spring.
Actually,
So I'm a little more motivated to get out there and do it right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
Interesting,
still
right?
sowing and still planting out every week and, pulling stuff up and moving stuff
Yeah.
around. But I mean, I've been sowing like crazy the last like 3 weeks or so, tons of stuff going in.
Yeah.
But I think probably a lot of people will have filled up their garden, like it's at maximum capacity now, and then they take their foot off the pedal because lots of people don't like growing over winter. I like to try and keep the whole lot kind of ticking over, but lots of people, either it's not practical, or it's just not something they want to do, which is understandable.
well, just
Yeah, I
that.
think
I'll just quickly jump in, JB. That my mum did that, mind you. You know what I mean? Like she was as early as anything, and then sometimes some of the beds would be clear by the end of June, going to July. That was it. They were put to bed, finished.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I think and I learned that kind of technique, but I think it's more with YouTube with me, where you think, well, I need to do something. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it's Japanese onions time now, grown local. There, get
Yeah.
your links in the description. Do you know what I mean? So. What were you going to say, JB? What were you going to say?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think I fall more into. I'm not much of a winter gardener. I almost always start to feel a little bit burned out this time of year. And seed sowing always falls off the to-do list. I've got a few things kicking about, but I probably need to set up somewhere to sow seeds that isn't in a greenhouse. It's like 40 degrees.
I know.
Yeah.
Should probably try.
Not that appealing, is it?
Yeah. There's a simple idea, but also a lot of the fall crops aren't the most attractive for me. Turnips and fennel and that kind of thing. They're not high on my priority list.
Oh.
So for me, it's always a little bit. I do take my foot off the pedal. I'll get some more beets in and some lettuce and
that's
a
good
few
though,
other
JB,
bits,
as
but
well.
not
It's
much.
like it's a refresh as well. It is, it is a good time to kind of just like think, right, because sometimes, like you say, your glut's going to come, JB, and if that polytunnel is like any other polytunnel, you're going to get a massive harvest. You're going to be sick to death because then you've got to tidy it all up eventually and clear it all out. You do need that kind of November, December, January kind of, you know what I mean? So
Yeah. And I'll have plenty of infrastructure projects. I've always got infrastructure projects over winter. That's what keeps me busy. But what's going on with your tomatoes, Tony? What's the latest? The
latest is that it's not blight. Do you know what I mean? Well, did I mention this on the last show? It's not blight.
Yeah, we discussed botrytis.
They're all getting it. They're all kind of coming apart from like the Shirley, and I've got like the cherry tomatoes that seem to do fine. So I've got another pork chop on the way. So I don't think I'm going to get like a huge harvest. I'm probably going to get like say maybe 2 or 3 medium harvests left. If I can just carry them on. I'm interested to find out because that little sucker plant is now. I've let it split into 2. And it's probably about 3 foot tall. Do you know what I mean? So we'll wait and see. I have left because there was 3 or 4 that was totally just like snapped over and gone. I cut them right down, but I left the roots in just because I was doing other stuff, and I thought I can't be chewed with trying to pull them out of them things. Now they've started to sprout away again. So
interesting.
God, it's like it's nearly the middle of August now. Do you know what I mean? I don't think I'll get a red tomato, but I'm just letting them go to see how far. Do you know what I mean? So
Sucker challenge Mark 2.
But what I am noticing, though, JP, I've got some like outdoor tomatoes in like big wooden troughs at home in the garden. Every day they're needing watering, no matter if it's wet or cold. Do you know what I mean? And it's like what I'm now worried about with that is I'm chancing blossom end rot. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm just like having to that every night you can see this kind of wilty feel to it, and I'm thinking, you know what I mean? This is like as bad. Do you know what I mean? So we'll be, but the
Yeah.
ones in the garden that are outdoors, the Crimson Crush, they're still going. I've never watered them. I've never touched them.
Nice.
They've got tomatoes on, but it's always this for me. It's a long wait. Do you know what I mean? It's like a long wait when they're outside. You know what I mean? So we will
Yeah,
see.
mine, the ones that I planted outside that were the same size as the ones that were inside, like I planted them out at the same time, I mean. Yeah, the difference is night and day. Like
Yeah.
they're looking really healthy, the ones that are outside. They're not blighty or anything like that, but they're maybe 2 foot tall and quite spindly, and the ones in the greenhouse are like chonk stems, and they're like this, you know, and you're trying to wind them round, and they're too stiff to kind of go up between. They're like absolute beasts, but you know,
That's really good.
different.
Do you always get a tomato, like a red tomato from outside, Jess?
Last 2 years we have, but the ones from last year, I got one flush of red, and then they all got blight. So obviously that was the end of that. Except for the garnet, which isn't blight resistant, but that seemed to survive, and I still got, like, the rest of them went red, so I got the rest of those. But generally no. But I think it's also watering. Like, I don't look after them as well as I should when they're outside. When they're indoors, you've got to pamper them a bit because you know they're totally reliant on you, and they get fed and all that kind of stuff. And then when they go outside, they do tend to just be like left to their own devices.
Anything else, Audrey? Anything else? Anything good? Anything bad happening? How's your?
No, my celeriac is starting to bulb.
Oh, right.
Nice.
So
Right.
I'm very excited about that. So that looks just spectacular. I'm very thrilled with that. What else? I had a couple volunteer tomatoes that are kicking out the cherries. So I just made room for them. So one of them is kind of taking over Bug Ben. But I'm like, okay, I'll share a few with the bugs. What else is really... Oh, my peppers are really coming along. So I'm quite sure this week I'll be harvesting some of those. So I knew they looked sketchy going in, but I think they pulled it together.
Nice.
So yeah, so those will be coming out. New carrots went in, or new carrot seed, and it's all popping up. So I'm very excited to see a nice fall carrot harvest.
Straight in
I'm
the
gonna get
ground,
some
Audrey.
carrots
The
in,
carrot
actually.
seeds straight in the ground.
Yes. No,
Right.
no, they're in a bed. They're in a bed. And I have it running right down one of my drip lines. So those babies do not dry out while they're getting germinated. So I have found that to be the best, just to have them right there. So they're all looking pretty good. So I'm very excited about it as we move into, I don't
Well-
want to say fall yet. I mean, we're in the middle of summer right now.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
So-
dark at bloody 4 o'clock here, Audrey. Now the northeast of England, way high.
What did I say about that? What did I say about that? You keep that to yourself and let your soul just die a little bit. You
Audrey,
don't
look
say
at
it out
the
loud.
kids. Look at the 2 kids below, man. They're glowing with the suntans, man. It's red hot. It's like still summer here. Fall. What I did
Is
do, mate.
anybody else... Oh, yeah.
No, go on, Jess. Go on.
No, you say what you were going to say. I'll
Well, I
come
was
back
going
to
to
it.
change this. I was going to change the subject totally.
So
Well,
was
the
I.
other-
I was just going to say, is anybody else finding this the most incredible bean year? Because
Or
we have-
something eating beans? Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
me eating beans, like the
Yeah,
number of beans is.
No.
I'm not kidding. Like, we've got our own, the beans growing up our arches. Not quite got the runner beans yet, so I can't demonstrate the absolute excellence of the bean slicer just yet and prove you wrong. But the French beans have just been incredible, and we've been looking after ours.
Really?
And then there's like 2-3 plots up from us. They've gone on holiday for a week, so we've been picking them. And I'm not kidding. They've only got like the same number of plants as me, which isn't very many. And we've been every 2 days, we've been up there bringing back like 2.5 kilos of French beans and giving them out down the road in 500 gram sachets, like on the WhatsApp group for the road. It's like, anyone else want some more beans? You know, and take them down the pub. And I cannot believe how
Wow.
many beans there are. It's just my entire
Well,
life at the moment is just taken up with picking beans and trying to think of ways to use beans.
Wow.
That's wild. No, I've had a crap bean year.
Oh no!
The dwarf French beans got off to a pretty mixed start. They gave got some good bean crops, and now they're just kind of sat there looking kind of yellowing. They look like they're kind of dying off, to be honest. And as for the taller beans, just slug-ageddon. Every single time I've gone out any of the taller beans, they've been completely slugged. I did plant. I just planted out a row this weekend because I had one tray that I was like too nervous to put out because I was like, it's just going to get stuck. So it's just been getting like taller and taller in the greenhouse. And finally the bottom leaves started yellowing off and dying. And I was like, okay, it's time. They need to go out. But I'm not expecting there to be any when I next go to the allotment.
Yeah.
But it's warmed up, so maybe the slugs have chilled out a little bit. But we'll see.
Mind you, JB, that happened to my peas this just like 1 week they were looking all great and nice and just about to kind of come into, you know, like fatten up the actual pea pods. Loads like marsh too, but they're actually a pea. Then I went up, I don't know, just the other day there, and they're all like yellow. Do you know what I mean? Just like kind of died off yellow, and I'm like thinking, I don't think that's kind of right, but I've never had a pea yet, you know, from there, so they're gone. They're not good, but I am going to go up today and pick some kale, and I was asking of all Audrey, you would be ashamed of this. I was asking ChatGTP, Cavall Nero, like to do like oven kale, like make it in crisps, give us a lovely recipe. Yeah. I was asking the AI to give us a lovely recipe so I can just like have like crunchy crisps. You know, it was like I think it was like garlic, salt, and onion flakes and all sorts. It was giving us there, so. I'm going to go and pick some Cavall because that's okay at the moment, the Cavall Nero. I haven't checked actually for butterflies, caterpillars. I know they're up here now, so... Anybody seen caterpillars on the brassicas yet? Have we got...
Hundreds. There's hundreds up here.
Oh,
Thankfully not on the brassicas, just around. I mean, I put up I did a second load of brassica netting recently because one of my patrons very kindly had brassica seedlings, so like bloody massive by the time that she was able to get them to me. It's very nice that she took pity on me and my pathetic seedlings. But she's given me loads of purple sprouting and you have them at Christmas, sprouts. And so I had to make up a second bed defended from the butterflies. It's just the most janky, shoddy butterfly net that you've ever seen. These like big floppy blue pipes that look like they're going to blow over in a storm, but they're holding for now.
I've seen that video, Jimmy. That's exactly mind you what. Sometimes you can spend like so long
I hate it so
laughing
much.
on with it, like you know what I mean. And I just think nah. I once had them where I would like have like what you call them, canes, bamboo canes on the netting, wrap it round and then fix it on, had little hooks, and I'm thinking, what the God? Now it's just roll it up, put a brick there, don't care if slugs get, because you get loads of people, you know, like, hindsight, you'll get slugs and that where you're leaving the bricks on and there'll be slugs, and like, at least of me worries, you know what I mean? So
yeah. Yeah, I had the best thing probably for that kind of thing where you want to do the blue piping, which you only really need to like spend a lot of time on if you're doing tall crops. You know, if it's the purple sprouting or the sprouts, they get huge. Like with your cabbages, you can kind of mock something up, and it doesn't need to be so tall and so structured. But someone said what you need to do is get fencing pins and cut the top off, basically. Drive them into the ground, and then you can put the pipe like on that really easily, and it's going to last way longer than a cane or any of those little, you know, those green steel canes that you get, like the steel canes that are wrapped in green plastic.
Immediately.
Just rubbish.
They're so
absolutely useless.
That's what I've used them, Jay, because what did I use them for? I bought them for the quad growers to like stick in the plastic holes in the greenhouse, but I'm not using the greenhouse for the tomatoes, so I've used them. And mind you, it was lovely because the word blue pipes just into the soil, put them and I had to actually use some wooden canes as well, just for the season. It just lifted up straight away. Do you know what I mean? And it was like 3 meter netting, so it kind of was simple again. Just like took the ends, rolled it up, put a brick inside, and just roll it down, and that's one end tight, and then just do it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the green ones are okay until you put them into soil. And then
Yeah, and then they just rot off at the crucial point, whatever you're doing with them. I've got a load of sash weights that go inside sash windows.
All
so
right.
they're just like round steels, like cast iron, which make brilliant like rollers for the netting because nobody's lifting that up. They're all different weights as well. Some of them are nice little ones, and some of them are about this long, and like, even I'm not lifting them up to get the netting off. It's just like, no, leave it there.
Nice.
But they're so handy.
Did you get anything? I just remember like last week it was all you kind of getting animals were attacking you. Is there anything happening? Have you got anything on camera or anything?
I've not got anything on camera because I dropped my trail cam and it now won't work. So I'm trying to work out what's wrong with it. I thought it could possibly, I was being optimistic, I thought it might have been like just coincided with the batteries running out that I dropped it, and it just gave up, but it's not coming back to life. So I'm not sure what to do with it at the minute, but that's very annoying. So I haven't caught anything on camera, but those pumpkins, 2 of them have definitely survived, and the rest of them are just a bit touch and go. But they've been back and redug up the turnips, so there's not a lot of them left.
Cheeky little buggers, eh? Do you know what I mean?
I've got this one spot on my plot that the foxes or the badgers just love. They won't let me plant anything in there. As soon as I plant anything in, they dig it up. They've left like loads of other stuff. When I put out all my courgettes and my squashes, I was really worried. And there's just this one spot. They dig stuff up, and I left it for like a few weeks. I was like, all right, you win this one. I'll leave it. I'll let them get to whatever's under there if it's that. And I planted something out the other day in the same spot, and next time I went up it halfway across the allotment. It's really weird that they love that one spot.
It's strange, isn't it? We've got a little tiny brown patch in our lawn here at home. It's only about like that sort of size, but I think originally a fox must have peed on the lawn. Like that was like the original thing. But we're talking maybe 8 years ago. And my cat Annie used to just go and sit on that spot like it was like hallowed ground, and he just used to sit on it for hours. I mean, Hallie does the same thing.
Oh wow!
There's something about this spot, and it can't be that there's still fox smell like all these years later. It's incredible. They both of them just go and plonk themselves down on it and just like be one with the world in this little bare patch. It's so strange.
That's amazing.
Wow.
So
anything else before we wrap this baby up for another show? Audrey?
I have a question. I have a slug question for you slug experts. How high can they
jump?
Get? Yeah.
Jump.
Or how high can they slither up?
Like, I think they do this thing, don't they, where they get quite high and then they dangle down. Like, that's a thing, right?
Yeah, they come down on a slime cord, don't they?
Yeah.
But
so they can get pretty high
because they'll go up as long as they don't like burn up in
Abseiling.
As long as they don't get like sun on a window or something, they'll climb up the side of a building, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so like I have 2 very tall raised beds behind my garage, probably 34 inches tall.
Oh,
and I think maybe slugs are what are taking out my beans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
it just has that look now, because I'm like, no rabbit is jumping that high.
No.
So and it has that kind of look like it's just been chomped. So I thought, oh my gosh. But they live in the dirt too, don't they?
Yeah, they can move through the soil pretty easily, so they might have gone under and then up.
Okay.
But you can get, I don't know, I'm presuming over there, or you can get that nematode mixture. You know what I mean? Where you set the
Yeah, I'm sure I
nematodes.
can. And I'm realizing the back of that one bed has kind of the boards have warped, so there's like an opening. So I'm thinking maybe they're just crawling in up there because I've never had a problem with anything being eaten off of these tall beds.
Mm,
But I think, that's probably how they're getting in.
the Slagami have got you. They've moved
Buggers.
in.
Yes.
Welcome to the club.
Okay.
You're
Yes,
I
indeed.
know. I know.
official
After all
member.
that time.
You'll get.
Well,
the
I'm going to try really
t-shirt.
hard. Not, yeah, that's on hubby's fix list. Fix that bed, would you, please?
Just sort that.
Please.
Once they're there, mind you, it's like you say, it's. I've used that nematodes and it's kind of kept them down that year I did them, but I haven't used them since. But they're there. You know what I mean? It's when you see the big fat things, you think, you bugger. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm thinking they were because they ate this entire half bed of beans. I don't know how they did it. There must have been a little group that went up there.
Yeah, I do.
It was
think
overnight. It was overnight.
Yeah.
It was like boom.
I think
Done.
they've evolved to move in herds. I'm sure that's what happens. Like if you came up before, like you would see like sporadics, around. I reckon now, if you caught them in the act, they'd just be like this wave, like marching in unison.
Mine it is. It's like gut wrenching, like what JB was saying there, when they just you kind of put them out, you veg out because you know it's going to go, and you put it out and it goes. It's like, for God's sake, man. Just
I've
like
been really lucky that I've not seen a single bit of touch wood, not seen a single bit of slug damage in the polytunnel, and I'm hoping it kind of stays that way, and it's just too hot for them. But do you get a lot of slug damage in your tunnels?
Snails, I tend to get rather than slugs.
Maybe I'll just count my blessings while it's because it's all still a bit new. I've turned everything over, everything's new in there. Maybe it's just kind of beginner's polytunnel luck.
When I pulled all my beds out like earlier this year, the number of snails just stuck because there's a gap between the raised bed edge and then there's like this much gap and then the plastic. That whole back edge that you couldn't see was just covered in snails.
Yeah.
So, that's where they've all been hiding then. So, yeah.
Oh.
what did you do with them? What did you do with them, Jess?
Mum scraped them off with a stick like that, and then I think unfortunately then they just got walked on because we were,
Well, there was
Moving
one
around.
I did a video and I think I got pulled up by someone commenting like, Tony, how dare you? Like, because you could hear the, after I was like, oh, for God's sake. So you could hear the crunch of us like standing on them. And
I
someone
can't
was like,
intentionally stand on them. I can't do that. I can't do it.
I throw them
I
out
thought
the
you were going to
ground.
say you fried them up in the pan.
Oh God.
No, but I got someone pulled us over the coals. You know what I mean? How dare you, Tony? Do you know what I mean? A living creature. I was like, let's find a few more.
Yeah, I couldn't stand on it intentionally. I do tend to hurl them into the playing fields next door, but I know they just come back.
They do.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, we drew numbers on them on their the snail shells in Tipex, and like we took them right to the end of the road, like 150 houses down, and like put them in the park. They came back with the same numbers. That's why we numbered them. It was like a science experiment type thing. Yeah. They would travel a really long way,
aren't they?
Yeah. Couldn't believe it.
I think it would take them a long time, though, right? Was it like the next year?
No, it was like a week or something. It was a
Wow.
little while.
But
they move pretty fast at night. Like you think of them as slow, but if you go out at midnight, you see them scurrying around. They're quick. They're quick.
No. Good reason never to go out after midnight.
Slug hours.
Yes. No, I'm not going to co-mingle with them. No.
Right then. Well, I think on that slug note, I'd like to say, JB, where can we find you, sir?
You can find me at NaturallyJB on YouTube, Instagram, and Patreon.
Lovely, lovely. I'll ask Jess later. Audrey, where can we find you?
Real Food Comes Dirty, Facebook. No, Facebook. What am I talking about? although I think I am on Facebook. I just never go on Facebook. YouTube, Instagram, and .com. Where did that come from?
Well, yeah. Jess, where can we find you?
Plot37.com or on YouTube and Instagram at the same.
Right, thank you very much. Well, everyone in the chat, it's been lovely there. Thank you so much for popping in there. Listen, if you just want to pop in our local chat, join Patreon. That would be fantastic. Links in the description. I'd love to see you there. We all would. Until next time, look after yourselves. Take good care. Bye.
Take care.
Bye. Have a great week.